Hello there guys, and welcome to Sunday's live stream specifically for the Oval Preseason Test. I'm JWF1 and we are here at the Texas Motor Speedway in Houston, Texas for the Oval Course Preseason Test. Yesterday we had the Road Course Preseason Test at the Daytona International Speedway Road Course, and now we're here at Texas for the Oval Preseason Test. If you didn't see what happened yesterday at Daytona, it was in the end Joseph Newgarden that topped that session. It was 1-3 for Target Andy Graham Racing, with Ed Jones managing to place his Target Andy Graham Racing in third. Splitting the two of them, of course, was James Hinchcliffe in the Martini Energia, and disappointment of the lot was probably Sebastian Bourdais, the defending champion, all the way down in 19th yesterday. Really struggled, just couldn't get to grips with the car around Daytona. And he's hoping to see if he can try and make amends for that when we actually get to the road course next week. But for now, he's got to focus on this oval test here at Texas Motor Speedway. For the second season in a row, we're here at Texas to do an oval preseason test. And who knows really what's going to happen, of course. We will be seeing the Prime tyre in action today rather than the options that we saw on the road course. It is the Prime tyre that we are using. So do keep a lookout for that. For those tyres as well. So before we start then, let's for anybody that didn't see yesterday's stream, here is a reminder of the drivers. Ignore the background picture, I hadn't had a chance to update it, but let's remind you of the drivers and teams for Season 4-5. For EMR, we have Sebastian Bourdais, the defending champion, and Helio Castroneves running the Honda engines. Eldorado Indy running the Chevrolet engines. We have Scott Dixon and Will Power. Fantaia Racing running the Chevy engines. We have Takuma Sato and Alexander Rossi. For Silicon Valley Racing, running the Honda engines, we have Simon Pagenaud and JR Hildebrand. At Martini Energia, running the Honda engines, we have James Hinchcliffe and Graham Rahal. At Target Andy Graham Racing, running the Chevrolet engines, we have Ed Jones and Joseph Newgarden. Over at Panasonic Makama Motorsport, running the Honda engines, we have Gabby Chavez and Pietro Fittipaldi. At Red Rose Racing, running the Chevy engines, we have Felix Rosenquist and Juan Pablo Montoya. E-Power, which run the Honda engines, have three-time IFMC champion Fernando Alonso and Ryan Hunter-Ray. Adrenaline Motorsport, the first of the two new teams running the Chevy engine, have Robert Wickens and Marco Andretti, and the second of the two new teams is SIC, the team that was in Season 1 of IFMC, running the Chevrolet engines. They have the services of Max Chilton and Tony Kanaan, who did very well yesterday in the test, managing to get 6th place in the SIC. Max Chilton struggling yesterday, it must be said. So there you have it then. That is the drivers and teams for the season. It's bright and sunny here at Texas. There is a chance it could finish 20 minutes early than what than what it's meant to end because of the limited amount of laps that these drivers have on this game. And because it's an oval, there is a chance it could finish early. So without further ado, let's get to the final preseason test of the season before the new season starts. So, as RV Central just loads it up there. Here we are then in the pit lane, and we're going to go to the end of the pit lane with Tony Kanaan. So we will wait and get this session underway. It is, of course, an hour session. Whether these guys will use all of it, though, we will wait and see as we wait to see who's going to be the first to get out onto the track. And as we get set then, and we've got a car already going out on the track now then, and here is Marco Andretti, and here he is then. So Marco Andretti in the adrenaline car, the first man out on the track now then, as he just makes his way around the what am I trying to say, around the bend there then, as he'll now make his way in towards the next left-hander on the track. As he just goes around the oval, and he's about to start his lap in a little bit. Max Chilton out on the track himself at SIC, as is Robert Wickens. Fernando Alonso out there as well. We also have Scott Dixon, James Hinchcliffe, Felix Rosenquist, Takuma Sato, Tony Kanaan, and we should have a few more coming out of the pits, including Ryan Hunter-Ray. We look at Marco Andretti then. He's just going around the turns 1 and 2 That bank is classed as 2 corners apparently, according to America. I think the entrance is turn 1 and the exit is turn 2. As now Andretti now then just goes around turns 3 and 4 now then. 18.111 in the second sector as he will now approach the end of the lap now then. What's the benchmark time Marco Andretti is going to set as he now crosses the line, and it's a 27.837. What about the guy behind him, which was Max Chilton? He went faster, but Wickens goes faster than the pair of them. He goes top of the timing sheets. Will Power just starts a lap. Fernando Alonso crossing the line, goes 4th fastest for the moment. Like Pagenaud might have held him up a little bit as he's battling with him at this stage. Dixon 4th for him at the moment. Hinchcliffe goes to the top. Rosenquist goes 2nd in the Red Rose Racing car. Here comes Takuma Sato in the Fantari. See what he can produce. He crosses the line to go 3rd fastest at this stage. Tony Kanaan crosses the line, 7th place for him. Andretti doesn't improve. Chilton doesn't improve. Robert Wickens crosses the line, improves, but remains in 4th place. Ryan Hunter-Reay crosses the line to go fastest. So Hunter-Reay at the top of the timing sheets. Power goes 8th with that lap. Castaneres on a lap. Pagenaud now goes to the top of the timing sheets. Alonso goes up to 5th. An improvement from the pair of them there then. Pagenaud at the top of the timing sheets now then. Rosenquist does not improve, remains where he is. Takuma Sato, what can he manage in the Fantari as he now crosses the line and remains in 6th place for the moment. Tony Kanaan crosses the line, improves to go up into 11th place, so a slight improvement for him. There then, Ryan Hunter-Reay, can he find some more improvement in the E-Power? No, he can't, remains 2nd at this stage. Helio Castroneves now goes up to 2nd, so he's 400ths off Pagenaud in the end. Power does not improve on that lap. It's 14th for Fittipaldi, so still last, but he improves on his best time at the moment. And I think that's going to do it for these guys. Well, I'll say that. Castaneres is on a better run, in fact, because he set a faster first sector than anybody. But he's lost time in the second sector there then. So he's lost a bit of time going into the second sector. Let's see if Castaneres can find some time to improve in the last sector. Let's see. It's, the Brazilian now then crosses the line and he remains 2nd. No improvement for Helio Castroneves in the EMR. And I think there was somebody else on the track, in fact. No, there weren't. Well, I say that. Fittipaldi's actually improved. He's gone up into 7th place in the Meccano. So up into 7th goes Pietro Fittipaldi in the Meccano car. So an improvement there then for the grandson of 2-time Formula 1 world champion Emerson Fittipaldi. And I think he's also a 2-time Indy 500 winner, from what I understand, Emerson Fittipaldi. As Gabby Chavez now then, Pietro's teammate, is now coming out onto the track as he now just makes his way around these banked corners. And sorry about that, I was just eating something there. Gabby Chavez now then going around the back to prepare himself to start a lap. Juan Pablo Montoya out on the track for Red Rose Racing, his teammate doing a good job at this stage. J.R. Hildebrand out on the track, as is Joseph Newgarden. Simon Pagenaud back out on the track. Ed Jones is coming out, as will Tony Kanaan, Graham Rahal, defending champion Sebastian Bourdais, Max Chilton, Alexander Rossi, Felix Rosenquist, Takuma Sato, Will Power, J.R. Hildebrand, as we mentioned earlier. As Chavez sets the fastest first sector of anybody, 500s up on Pagenaud in the first sector. Let's see if Chavez can keep that up in the second sector now then. And no, he's lost time in the second sector, but let's see where this lap is going to put Gabby Chavez in the Meccano. As he goes down this straight now, then across the line goes the young Colombian, and he goes 3rd fastest. A good time from Chavez at P3 for Gabby Chavez there then. Montoya 16th only. Looked like Jones might have impeded him a little bit on his lap as Graham Rahal has started the lap. Chilton also starting a lap himself as Andretti improved, but 16th. 4th for J.R. Hildebrand, a good time for him. He goes up into 4th place with that lap. Here's his teammate Simon Pagenaud. Let's see what he can do. Newgarden improves, but only up into 11th place. Pagenaud remains where he is at the moment. Sato starting a lap. Gabby Chavez using Rossi's slipstream. Can he improve on the lap? No, he can't. Remains 3rd. Bourdais about to start a lap. Here comes Ed Jones in the Target Andy Graham racing car across the line. He goes 3rd fastest for the moment. Montoya improves, but only up to 15th. It's only 16th for Graham Rahal. That time by Max Chilton across the line. 13th place for the SIC. Good time from him. Hildebrand doesn't improve. Here comes Newgarden. Improves, but remains in 12th place for the moment, so no improvement in terms of position. Here comes Simon Pagenaud. Can he improve on his current fastest time? No, he can't. Remains on 27.178. Sato doesn't improve behind him as well. Alexander Rossi goes only to 16th with that lap, as Bourdais only 21st with that lap. So not a good time for the defending champion. Seems to be struggling at the moment at this stage, as Jones remains where he is at the moment, as does Rahal. As Chilton goes up to 11th, a bigger improvement to P11 for Max Chilton there. Then Tony Kanaan, 20th only for him. Chilton today outpacing him, it seems. Here's Will Power now then going around the bank. And let's see what the Aussie can do. As Will Power will cross the line, and he remains where he is at the moment. No improvement for him. Alexander Rossi goes 15th with that lap. Sebastian Bourdais improves but remains in 21st. Rosenqvist improves. 7th place for the Swede at this stage. So Kanaan now then on another lap as he just come out the bank. Tony Kanaan now then is going to cross the line, and he remains 20th with that lap at this stage. So now we look at Power, who's 4 tenths down in the second sector. Power all the way down in 19th place, so struggling at this stage. Power does not improve, remains 19th for the moment in this session. As here is Tony Kanaan in the SIC, just going around the bank, and he'll be going into the pits this time by. And just trying to see if there's anybody else on the track that's currently doing a lap. It doesn't appear like it, so we'll wait for somebody else to go back into the pits. So after 7 minutes then, this is what the leaderboard looks like then. It's Pagenaud fastest with Castroneves second, Jones third, Chavez fourth, Hildebrand in fifth, followed by Hunter Ray sixth, Rosenqvist seventh, Hinchcliffe eighth, Alonso ninth, Fittipaldi 10th, Chilton 11th, Sato 12th, Newgarden 13th, Wickens 14th, Rossi 15th, Montoya 16th, Rahal 17th, Dixon 18th, Power 19th, Kanaan 20th, Bourdais 21st, and Andretti in 22nd position. So that's how that looks at this stage. We look at James Hinchcliffe at the moment, who's currently in 8th. He's about to start his lap in a little bit. Hinchcliffe had a very good test yesterday at Daytona. Let's see if he can try and get another good test under his belt here at Texas Motor Speedway as he makes his way around the bank. And let's see, as he is 600ths up in the first sector. But we've seen this before. It seems that people lose time in the second sector. So clearly, Pagenaud's fastest time, he did not have a very good first sector, it must be said. 1 tenth down now, Hinchcliffe is in the second sector as he just goes around the bank. Sparks coming off the back of his Martini. Let's see then, Hinchcliffe, he's going to cross the line. Where's he going to place himself? And he goes up to third with that lap. A good time from James Hinchcliffe. P3 for the mayor of Hinchtown. P3 for the Canadian. As Marco Andretti crosses the line, doesn't improve. What about Alonso behind him? Was he on the lap? Alonso has just started a lap, in fact. Sebastian Bourdais about to start on himself, as is Ed Jones. Here's Juan Pablo Montoya. Can he find some time? Montoya crosses the line to go 11th. So P11 for Montoya. As meantime, Robert Wickens goes up to 9th. So good time from him there. So P9 now then for Robert Wickens as Chavez starts the lap. Here comes Scott Dixon in the Eldorado. No improvement for him. Remains down in 18th. Fernando Alonso crosses the line to go up to third. A good time from Alonso. P3, 600ths off Simon Pagenaud at this stage. Marco Andretti does not improve. Sebastian Bourdais, can he find some time to improve across the line? No, he can't. Down in 21st still. Bourdais struggling around the oval, it seems. Montoya improves a little bit more, but still remains in 12th place at this stage. Now then, Fittipaldi doesn't improve. As now we look at Gabby Chavez in the Macamo. Can he improve on his lap? No, he can't. Chavez remaining in 6th place for the moment in this session. Dixon remaining 18th. I don't know if he got held up there a little bit on his lap. Alonso remains 3rd. As we now look at Sebastian Bourdais again. Let's see if he can try and find some time to improve this time by. No, he can't. Remains in 21st at the moment. Bourdais struggling to find some time that he needs to get himself up there at this stage of testing. As here comes his teammate Helio Castroneves, as he remains in 2nd place for the moment. Fittipaldi doesn't improve, and nor does JR Hildebrand with that lap. Gabby Chavez doesn't improve. Chavez remaining where he is. Rossi goes up to 11th in the Fantari. A good time for him. Newgarden now improves as well. He goes up into the top 10 in 10th place. A good time from Joseph Newgarden. As now puts himself within the top 10. Helio Castroneves on another lap as he just goes around the bank. Heading down the straight now then. Is Castroneves going to improve on his lap? The Brazilian crosses the line, and no, he can't. He remains where he is at this stage now then. As Hildebrand doesn't improve, remains 7th with his lap. Rossi still 12th in the Fantari, as Newgarden finds some more time to improve. So up to 9th place goes Joseph Newgarden with that lap. Castroneves going back into the pits this lap, as are these guys as well. As we wait for some more cars to go out on the racetrack now then. Newgarden we look at coming into the pits this time by with just over 50 minutes to go in this pre-season test, the oval pre-season test. As we've got Rosenqvist now then out on track for Red Rose Racing as he makes his way around the banking. And just going around the banking then goes Felix Rosenqvist as he now will approach the next banking on the track. And Rosenqvist just preparing himself to start his next flying lap now then. So he just goes down the straight, and Rosenqvist starting his lap, currently in the cusp of the top 10, currently outpacing teammate Juan Pablo Montoya. Rosenqvist struggled yesterday, it must be said, but clearly doing a good job on the ovals. His first sector is 1100s down on Pagenaud, and he just had to get out of the way there. He had to swerve to the left to avoid that SIC that was just coming out of the pits. I don't know which SIC that is. I think that looks like Max Chilton. He had to just try and swerve there, and now Rosenqvist finds himself 2 tenths down in the second sector, so I don't think he's on for an improvement. Clearly that SIC held him up a bit on his lap. Rosenqvist crosses the line and remains in 10th place for the moment in this session. We now look at Simon Pagenaud, who's just going around the bank, and Pagenaud now then will cross the line himself, and what's he going to do? He does not improve and remains on a 27.178 at this stage, as we now look at Takuma Sato, who just goes down the straight himself. Takuma Sato, can he find some improvement? No, he can't. Remains where he is at the moment. Power starts a lap. Ryan Hunter-Reay remains 8th. We had an improvement as Chilton goes up to 8th. A good time from Chilton. P8 for the Brit. So P8 then for Max Chilton, a good time from him in the SIC. As Pagenaud again doesn't improve on his current fastest time. Tony Kanaan, can he improve? He does, but only up to 17th place. Hinchcliffe doesn't improve. Kanaan clearly holding him up on that lap. Alonso just starts the lap himself. Takuma Sato doesn't improve, remains where he is. Will Power only up to 20 for that lap, but he improves on his best time. As Wickens does not improve himself, nor does Chilton behind him. Rahal starts a lap, as here is Marco Andretti as he makes his way down the straight. Andretti does not improve, and he remains where he is at the moment, which is, where is he? Down in last place. So Andretti's not having a good session, it must be said. Kanaan doesn't improve. Pietro Fittipaldi starts the lap. Alonso didn't improve, he remains third. As we've got a yellow flag, we have a yellow, and that's where the pit entrance is. So has somebody crashed in the pit lane? Yes, it's James Hinchcliffe. Hinchcliffe either must have broke himself, or there was somebody on the left and he turned in at the wrong place at the wrong time. So Hinchcliffe has smashed the wall trying to go back into the pits there. So let's see, and it looks like he just carried a little bit too much speed in to go into the pit. So Hinchcliffe has smashed it in the wall, and well, that's that for him really. So Hinchcliffe, well, will have to get into the spare car, or they could just repair it if they're able to. I mean, he's only just next to the pit lane, so it's not like it's going to be the end of the world as far as he is concerned. As we now look at Scott Dixon, who's just going around the bank, and just going down the straight now. Then Alonso. Here is Alonso just going around the bank himself, as Andretti improves but remains in last place. So a little bit of an improvement there for Marco Andretti. The yellow flags are now cleared, as Pietro Fittipaldi will cross the line along with Alonso. Fittipaldi doesn't improve, and nor does Alonso, as Power goes into the pits himself. We look at Graham Rahal in the Martini, just going around the banked corners, and Graham Rahal crosses the line. Rahal remains where he is at the moment, which is 18th at this stage of testing. So that's that for him really, as Fittipaldi is on another lap. Alonso's coming into the pits, the guy behind him, and Alonso flicks it to the left to go back in, as Fittipaldi now then will cross the line, and Fittipaldi remains where he is at the moment, which is where is he? 14th place at this stage of testing. So that's that for him really. As we now look at Ed Jones, let's see what his second sector is like. He's 1/10 down in the second sector. I don't think he's on for an improvement, but we will wait and see what the Chevy powered target Andy Graham can do. And it seems very clear that the Chevys seem to have improved some pace a little bit, to the point where they're now probably close to the Hondas now then. So it's probably going to be very, very close between the two manufacturers this season, as Jones remained where he is in third. He's up in the first sector, by the way, but we know that you can sometimes lose time in the second sector. Ed Jones, again, we look at 1/10 down in the second sector, and again doesn't look to be on an improvement. The Amoretti's driving now then, heading down the straight, and Jones is going to cross the line, and he remains where he is at the moment, as we try and get to somebody else. Sebastian Bourdais, what can he do? The defending champion, can he find some time to improve? He does, but he's still in 21st, so Bourdais still struggling around this oval, it must be said. And this is not exactly what he wants in the defence of his title. So, not good news for him as far as he's concerned. Here is Joseph Newgarden, who appears to be down on his personal best in the middle sector. We'll see if he can improve. He doesn't. He remains where he is at the moment, which is 10th place. So still in the cusp of the top 10, as Sebastian Bourdais using Chilton's slipstream, but even that's not enough to improve him at this stage. Rossi goes up to 8th, a big improvement for him. So up into P8 goes Alexander Rossi in the Fantari. A good time from him. Montoya and Castanera is going side by side. Montoya remaining where he is at the moment. Castanera is just starting a lap, and I wouldn't be surprised if Montoya impedes him a little bit on his lap, as Joseph Newgarden crosses the line, remains in 10th place. Sorry, now down in 11th place at the moment in this session. Chavez remains in 6th, so Chavez remaining where he is. Chilton still 9th with that lap. Alexander Rossi remains 8th. So P8 at the moment for him, as Rosenquist is about to start a lap, as here comes Juan Pablo Montoya. Can the Red Rose Racing car improve? He can't, and nor does Castaneres behind him. Tony Kanaan does not improve. Kanaan remaining in 17th place at this stage, as Pagenaud remains at the top, as his teammate goes 7th, so an improvement for him there then. That's P7 for JR Hildebrand, as here is Max Chilton across the line, no improvement for him, as Hunter Ray goes up into 8th place there, so an improvement there then for Hunter Ray, but still teammate Alonso outpacing him at this stage of the testing, as Helio Castaneres crosses the line, remains 2nd place for the moment, still 17th for Tony Kanaan in the SIC, and so that's that. Sato has improved to go up to 14th, so Sato with an improvement, as we look at Ryan Hunter-Ray, as he will now cross the line himself, and Hunter-Ray remains in 8th place for the moment in this session. Felix Rosenquist crosses the line, Rosenquist remaining in 9th at the moment at this stage, so that's that for him. As we now look at Takuma Sato, he's just coming out of the bank, heading down the pit straight, and Sato will cross the line, and he remains in 14th place for the moment in his test, as Will Power we're now looking at, just going down the straight, as he will start a lap, as will Wickens. Sato did not improve on his lap, as he'll be coming back into the pits this time by. We'll look at Will Power then in the Eldorado, with just over 43 minutes left, so we've had I think we've had 17 minutes of this session already completed, as Will Power just going around the bank, and he is 900ths down in the first sector. Let's see what his second sector is going to be like as he approaches that section of the course, and he's 4 tenths down in the second sector. Whether he will be able to hook it up in the last sector, we'll wait and see. Power now then, across the line he goes. Can Power find some time to improve? He can't. He remains in 20th place at the moment. Eldorado struggling in this session, it must be said. Sandretti starts a lap. James Hinchcliffe now then, and the Martini crosses the line. Hinchcliffe remaining 4th at this stage of testing. As we look at Graham Rahal, his teammate. Here's Will Power again on another lap, 4 tenths down in the second sector again. We'll wait and see if he can try and hook it up in the last sector this time by. Power now then, across the line goes the Australian, and he does not improve, remains in 20th place at this stage. Juan Pablo Montoya starting a lap himself, as Marco Andretti goes 21st with that lap, so he pushes Bourdais down to last, the defending champion, down to the back. So Andretti improves to go up into second to last place for the moment. Alonso starts a lap, as Graham Rahal, who appears to be down on his personal best in the middle sector. Graham Rahal crosses the line, and Rahal remains 18th for the moment in this session. Juan Pablo Montoya in the Red Rose Racing car goes up to 10th, so Montoya into the top 10 at this stage. Not both Red Rose Racing cars. Andretti goes up to 18th, Fittipaldi up to 14th place for the moment. Alonso remains 3rd, no improvement for him. Newgarden starting a lap, as will Gabby Chavez. Ed Jones now then will cross the line, and he does not improve. Jones remaining where he is at this stage. Here comes Graham Rahal. Rahal remaining in 19th place for the moment So Montoya goes up to 6th with that lap. A good time for Montoya. That's P6 for the Colombian, Juan Pablo Montoya. Alexander Rossi does not improve. He remains where he is at this stage. Fernando Alonso will cross the line, and he remains 3rd for the moment in this session. Joseph Newgarden, of course, remains in 12th. The man who topped the road course test yesterday. Bourdais improves, but only up into 18th place, so a little bit more improvement to go for Bourdais if he wants to get up within the top 10 by the end of the session, but at least he's got out of the dreaded last place, and I think that pushes Andretti now back down to the last place. No, it pushes Power, in fact, because Andretti improved a little earlier, so both Eldorados 21st and 22nd, not good for the Romanian-based team. Clearly, a lot of work to do for them on the ovals, it must be said, just like last season. Newgarden remains 12th with that lap, as that Meccano there, I couldn't quite tell which one it was. I think it was Chavez, does not improve there then, as it's still 18th for Sebastian Bourdais. Bourdais unable to improve on that lap, as we now look at JR Hildebrand. Round the bank he goes, and Hildebrand will now cross the line, and the American remains where he is at the moment, which is P8 in this session. So that's that for him, really, as Helio Castroneves is about to start lapping a little bit. Hildebrand 200s up in the first sector, but I wouldn't be surprised if he loses that time again in the second sector. Sparks come off the back of his Silicon Valley racing car. Around the back he goes, and yet 2 tenths down in the second sector. It doesn't look like Hildebrand is on for an improvement, unless he performs some form of miracle. In the last sector, sparks come off the back of his car, and he remains in 8th place. No improvement for JR Hildebrand. And here's Helio Castroneves now, then 600s up in the first sector for Helio. Let's see what his second sector is like. He's 1 tenth down, and Castroneves doesn't look to be on an improvement at this stage, as he just comes out of the bank. Just under 40 minutes to go now then in this session. Castroneves remains 2nd with that lap there then, as Will Power's about to start a lap in a little bit. I don't know if the if that says Bridgestone or Firestone. I'm not 100% sure on that. It says Stone. I can't quite tell when you look at it from the cockpit. I've probably not imported the right sort of interior for the Firestone tyres, so I'll have to check on that, as Tony Kanaan starts a lap, as does Takuma Sato. And I think they say Bridgestone actually, not Firestone. I do apologise for that. I think I could be wrong on that, but you never know. Power goes up to 19th with that lap, so an improvement for him there then, as far as he is concerned. As Hinchcliffe starts a lap, I'm trying to find the next person who's on a lap. That'll be Tony Kanaan in the SIC. Kanaan crosses the line, remains where he is at this stage, as Takuma Sato remains in Takuma Sato remains 16th for the moment. Here is Dixon, Scott Dixon, just going around the bank, as Felix Rosenquist goes around the bank himself. Here is Chilton, 400s up in the first sector now then, as Hunter Ray didn't improve on his lap. Hinchcliffe doesn't improve, nor does Marco Andretti. Takuma Sato across the line goes the Japanese driver, and he goes up to 2nd. A really good time from Sato. That's P2 for him, 8 thousandths off Pagano overall, so P2 for the Fantari of Takuma Sato. Dixon didn't improve that time by. Chilton stays in 12th in this session. Here's Robert Wickens. I don't know if he got held up there, but Wickens crosses the line. Wickens remaining in 16th place in this session, as Pietro Fittipaldi starts a lap. Hinchcliffe didn't improve. Andretti remains 20th for the moment in this session. Dixon just going around the bank. See if Dixon can find some time to improve. And Scott Dixon now then will cross the line, and no improvement for him. So still, where is he at the moment? Dixon still in last place at the moment. Really disappointing for the Kiwi. He did pretty well yesterday in the road course, being in 4th place, but still some work to be done for the Kiwi. Wickens remains 16th for the moment with that lap, as Fittipaldi doesn't improve. Alonso starts a lap, as now Dixon's going back into the pits, as Robert Wickens is also going back into the pits. We look at Pietro Fittipaldi, 300 up in the first sector, but I wouldn't be surprised if he loses that time in the second sector alone. Let's see, Fittipaldi into the second sector, 1 tenth down there then, and could be on for an improvement, but we'll wait and see how he hooks up the last sector. Here he comes then. Pietro Fittipaldi is now going to cross the line, and Fittipaldi remains where he is at the moment. Alonso didn't improve either. He remains in 4th place in this session. As we now look at Alonso, in fact, he's 200 up in the first sector, but as we've seen a little earlier on, I wouldn't be surprised if he loses the time in the last 2 sectors now then. Around the bank then goes Fernando Alonso. Yep, 2 tenths down in the second sector. Alonso doesn't appear to be on an improvement this time by Fernando Alonso. Will now cross the line, and as predicted, he does not improve. Remains 4th in this session, so still 4th then for Fernando Alonso. And let's have a look and see if anybody else is on a lap. It doesn't appear like it at this stage, so we'll get to whoever that was. Graham Rahal, that is. Just had trouble trying to flick through there. He's having to go around these cars. Let's see what his first sector is like. That probably impeded him a bit, and yeah, it did a tad bit. He was 600s down in the first sector. Let's see what his second sector is going to be like as Rahal rounds the second bank, and he's 3 tenths down in the second sector. So I don't know if Rahal will be on for an improvement, but we'll see as he comes out of turn 4, heading down the straight now then, and Rahal crosses the line and he improves to go up into 19th place. So only a few places Rahal gained that time by. Jones remaining where he is at the moment, as Montoya still 7th at the moment in this testing period, as we now look at Helio Castroneves, who is 2 tenths down in the second sector. So Castroneves again not looking at an improvement this time by, as the top 4 are currently separated in this test by 600ths of a second, so very close indeed. Castroneves remains in 3rd place at the moment. Newgarden about to start a lap, as Chilton gets a checkered flag next to his name, and he didn't improve. So people finishing off quite early as we predicted. Hunter Ray doesn't improve, nor does Jones. Montoya doesn't either. Kanan doesn't improve, and he now even gets a checkered flag next to his name. So both SICs are done for the day in 12th and 17th, as Hildebrand improves to go up into 7th place. So Hildebrand up into 7th place. Whereabouts is he on the track? There he is. So he's on another lap, it must be said. There's no improvement for Castroneves. He remains 3rd. Newgarden doesn't improve either. Nor does Bourdais down in 19th place. As here comes Tony Kanaan as he will cross the line. Kanaan remains in where is he at the moment? Kanaan remains in 17th place at this stage. As we now look at Joseph Newgarden on a lap himself, as will Simon Pagenaud in a little bit. Joseph Newgarden across the line, and Newgarden does not improve, remains in 13th place behind Max Chilton, as Bourdais remains 19th on that flying lap. As now then we will try and look at Pagenaud, who it says he's up in the first sector. Let's see if he can improve in the second sector. He can't. He's 1/10 off his personal best in the middle sector. As now coming out the bank, heading down this straight now then, Pagenaud will now cross the line, and he remains on a 27.178 in this session. As Sato now then we have a look at, who's 300ths off in the first sector there. Then Spots coming off the back of his Fantaia, 1/10 down in the second sector, and Sato doesn't appear to be on an improvement. The Japanese driver now then will cross the line. Takuma Sato, cross the line he goes, and he remains in 2nd place with that lap. So still P2 then for Takuma Sato. Pagenaud remains on a 27.178. No improvement for the current fastest man at this stage, as here is Takuma Sato on another flying lap, as someone just went out of the pits just in front of him. Sato 1/10 down in the second sector, as he just comes out of the corner now, then heading down the straight. And Takuma Sato now then across the line, and he remains where he is at the moment and gets the checkered flag next to his name. So Sato finishes for the rest of the day 8 thousandths off Pagenaud, so he'll be probably very happy with that, and sure will team boss Michael Moore with that lap, as Pagenaud now gets the checkered flag next to his name, so he's done, and he remains on a 27.178, which has been untouchable for a majority of this session. We look at Rosenqvist, who's 2 tenths down in the second sector. Doesn't appear to be on an improvement. We'll wait and see though. He's still using slipstream for, I think that's Dixon in front, so it could help the Swede as he crosses the line, and it did help him. In fact, he goes up into 5th place. So Rosenqvist up to 5th, getting the help of the slipstream from Dixon, and that's P5 for Felix Rosenqvist with that lap. A really good time from him there then. Slipstream galore, it must be said, around here at Texas Motor Speedway. Here is James Hinchcliffe in the Martini Inertia, and he does not improve, remains where he is at the moment, which is 6th place in this session. Fernando Alonso starts the lap. Ed Jones remains in 7th. As now Dixon improves but remains in 20th. Probably got a little bit of a helping hand from Rosenqvist. He gets a checkered flag next to his name, as does Felix Rosenqvist. As Andretti now gets a checkered flag next to his name, he improves to go up into 20th, so slight improvement for him there. Then Dixon and Powell with checkered flags next to their name, so everybody's starting to get checkered flags. These guys that we just went across did not improve. So Alonso now then appears to be down on his personal best in the middle sector there. Then Alonso will cross the line, and Alonso remains 4th with that lap there then, and he gets a checkered flag next to his name. Dixon doesn't improve, nor does Gabby Chavez, as Marco Andretti remains 20th on his final flying lap. As another crash has happened down there is Felix Rosenqvist, so he is the second man to outdo himself in the pit entrance there then. So as you can see there, just carrying a bit too much speed, loses the back end, and it just plants him into the wall. We saw that with James Hinchcliffe earlier on in the session, and Rosenqvist the next to crash as well. So not the way he wanted to end his session, that's for sure. But Rosenqvist now then, at least he hasn't got that far to walk. The pit lane is just right next to him. So yellow flag there then for Felix Rosenqvist in the Red Rose racing car. And Fittipaldi crosses the line, and he gets a checkered flag to his name. No improvement for Pietro Fittipaldi. As anybody else on the improvement, it doesn't appear like it. As we now look at Graham Rahal now then, he's just going around the bank. Rahal 4 tenths down in the middle sector. It doesn't appear like Rahal is going to be on for an improvement, but we'll wait and see as he now is about to cross the line, and no improvement for Rahal. He remains in 18th place with that lap. Pietro Fittipaldi remains in 15th. No improvement for him. I think we're getting close to people finishing off now. Alexander Rossi crosses the line. Rossi remains in 12th place, gets the checkered flag next to his name. As there's a few more cars actually going out on the track, I should say. I do apologise for that. A few cars still finishing off their final flying laps. Rossi on his final lap, 800 up in the first sector. Into sector 2 he goes, and he's 1 tenth down in the second sector with that lap. As he just goes out of the bank now, they're heading down the straight, and Rossi will cross the line on his final flying lap, and he improves to go up into 11th. So Rossi with a slight improvement, but still not within the top 10. Sato outpaces him in this session. Newgarden starts a lap himself, as Bourdais starting his final few laps, looking to see if he can try and find some improvement in him. Same with teammate Castro Neves, as Newgarden 116 thousandths up in the first sector there then. But as mentioned, as we've seen plenty of times during this session, I wouldn't be surprised if he loses time in the next sector, which he does. He's 2 tenths down that time by Newgarden, overall 2 tenths behind, so I don't think Newgarden will be on for an improvement, as he will now cross the line. And let's see, Newgarden does not improve, remains in 14th. He's got one more lap before he finishes off. Sebastian Bourdais remains in 19th, one more lap to do for him. Hunter Ray using his slipstream, it seems to try and improve. Here's Castro Neves 200 up in the first sector, as he will now make his way around the bank, and he's 2 tenths down in the second sector. And Castro Neves not looking at an improvement. Sparks coming off the back of his EMR, as he's got a Silicon Valley racing car right behind him at this stage. Castro Neves crosses the line, remains in 3rd place. Hildebrand starts a lap. Newgarden doesn't improve, remains 14th, so nowhere near as it was yesterday. Hunter Ray has passed Bourdais on the track, and Hunter Ray goes up to 6th. A big improvement for Hunter Ray. That's P6, getting help from Bourdais slipstream. Bourdais remains a dismal 19th, so a lot of work to do for him before Barber Motorsports Park next week. A disappointing 2 pre-season tests for defending champion Sebastian Bourdais. A lot of work to do for him as far as he's concerned. Here's his teammate Helio Castro Neves, who's now going to cross the line. Let's see if he can improve, which he doesn't. He remains 3rd with his lap, as Hildebrand remains 9th with his lap, as Bourdais is now the next victim to crash into the barriers. He's got a little bit too fast. Hunter Ray remains in 6th place, as Bourdais has crashed it, and the third man to outdo himself in the pit entrance, and that will put play to the end of a dismal 2 preseason tests for the defending champion. As Hildebrand is on a lap now then, as he will go down the straight. JR Hildebrand will now cross the line, and Hildebrand remains in 9th place with that lap. And I think, well, I say that, Graham Rahal is about to complete his final flying lap, as he will now cross the line, and Rahal remains in 18th, and I think that's going to do it. Yes, it is. Everybody has now finished the session then. So, at the end of that then, here is the results of the oval preseason test. The preseason test for IFMC IndyCar, the season has come to a close, and at the oval preseason test, this is what the leaderboard looked like. Pagenaud was fastest, with Sato second, Castroneves third, Alonso fourth, Rosenquist in fifth, followed by Hunter-Reay in sixth, Hinchcliffe seventh, Jones in eighth, then it was Hildebrand in 9th place. And I will try and see what the rest looks like in a little bit once Rahal pulls back into the pits now then. And I'll obviously do a little recap as well. And let's see, as it will cut to a what you call it, just a perspective of the track, which it does. Where was I then? So Hildebrand 9th, Montoya 10th, Chavez 11th, Rossi 12th, Chilton 13th, Newgarden 14th, Fittipaldi 15th, Wickens 16th, Kanaan 17th, Rahal 18th, Bourdais 19th, Andretti 20th, followed by Dixon in 21st, and Power in 22nd position. So there you have it then, guys. That has been it from preseason testing for IFMC IndyCar, and here at Texas Motor Speedway. It's been an exciting 2 days, and some very exciting stuff indeed, with the top 4 in this test only separated by 600ths of a second. But that is going to do it then, guys. I hope you've enjoyed it. A reminder then of the leaderboard, just for any of you that hasn't caught that little bit earlier. It was Simon Pagenaud fastest, with Takuma Sato second, Helio Castroneves third, Fernando Alonso fourth, Felix Rosenquist fifth, Ryan Hunter-Reay sixth, James Hinchcliffe seventh, followed by Ed Jones eighth, JR Hildebrand ninth, Juan Pablo Montoya 10th, Gabby Chavez 11th, Alexander Rossi 12th, Max Chilton 13th, Joseph Newgarden 14th, Pietro Fittipaldi 15th, Robert Wickens in 16th, Tony Kanaan 17th, Graham Rahal in 18th, and then it was Sebastian Bourdais 19th, Marco Andretti 20th, Scott Dixon 21st, and Will Power in 22nd position. Disappointing for Eldorado to fill out the last 2 places in this test. A lot of work to do for them before the beginning of the season. But there you have it then, guys. That has been it for preseason testing for IFMC IndyCar. I hope you've enjoyed it. It's been a very fascinating day, and we can't wait to get started again. And we can't wait to get started. That has been it then for this live stream this weekend. We will see you then, guys, next weekend at the Barber Motorsports Park in Alabama for the start of the new IFMC IndyCar season. And it should be some very exciting stuff for 90 laps of action there next weekend. So, I hope you've enjoyed these live streams this weekend. Again, thank you very much for watching this live stream. I hope you've enjoyed this preseason testing. Thank you for watching. I've been JWF1, and I will see you guys next weekend at Barber Motorsports Park in Alabama for the start of the new season. Until then, take care.